Most student musicians experience mechanical problems with their instrument at some time. Trying to play a damaged instrument can be frustrating, discouraging, and repair work can be expensive.
In the next few minutes, we would like to show you how to prevent problems with your instrument by demonstrating some simple procedures and principles of instrument care.
Research has shown that 80% of all damage to student musical instruments is caused by improper handling and assembly and lack of cleaning and maintenance.
It is obvious then that you can save yourself up to 80% of the frustration, wasted time, and expenses associated with damaged and dirty instruments, simply by learning to take proper care of your instrument, by learning to take care, take pride.
Most musicians would agree that an ideal instrument is one that works properly, looks nice, is clean and sanitary, and will last a long time. You can have an instrument like this simply by following the CARE formula.
C. Commit. Commit to take care, take pride. Commit to watch and listen to this videotape closely, and commit to learn all the procedures for your instrument.
A. Ask. Ask any question you have about your instrument. If there is something you don't understand, ask your band director, ask your private music teacher, or ask a qualified repair technician.
R. Repeat. Repeat consistently the daily, weekly, and monthly maintenance schedule as described in this video and on the care card for your instrument. Make a habit of consistently repeating the correct assembly procedures.
E. Expert. Take your instrument to a repair expert whenever you have mechanical problems with it. You should take your instrument in for a checkup at least once a year to see if it needs professional lubrication and adjustment.
Commit, ask, repeat, expert. The CARE formula is simple, but it can bring great results and make your band experience much more enjoyable. Now come with us and learn to take care, take pride. These instruments are members of the woodwind family. They are beautiful instruments and they make beautiful music when they are functioning properly. However, they are all very delicate instruments and can be damaged easily in everyday use.
Let's take a look at some things that all woodwind players should do. Then we will demonstrate specific care procedures for your instrument.
The number one problem with woodwind instruments is caused by not assembling and handling them correctly.
Let's look at an all too common scene. Stop. Do you notice how the student has taken the instrument out of the case?
Grabbing your woodwind instrument like this will bend the soft metal keys and cause notes not to play. The keys on woodwind instruments are very fragile and are designed only to withstand pressure from your fingers on the pad cups while playing.
Following some general rules will help prevent damage to your instrument.
Lift your instrument out of the case by the end of the joints and always avoid handling your instrument by the keys during assembly and handling, except as shown in this video.
Take responsibility for your instrument. You should be the only one playing and handling your instrument.
Whenever you are not playing your instrument, it should be in its case. After you put your instrument in the case, always make sure that the case latches are closed tightly before you pick it up. Even when your instrument is in its case, it must be handled carefully and set down gently to avoid damage.
Always keep your instrument in a safe place at home and at school to prevent others from tampering with it.
The second most common problem with woodwind instruments is caused by what you blow into them. As you play your instrument, sugar, food particles, and other chemicals are blown into your instrument. This mouthpiece is an example of the residue that can build up in your instrument if it is not cleaned regularly. This residue is much like the plaque that builds up on your teeth and can be just as destructive.
Several problems can result from this buildup. Pads can become coated with residue and stick. Your instrument may become a host to bacteria and viruses, which could be harmful to you and your instrument. This bacteria culture was taken from a dirty instrument. Bacteria such as these form acids which can eat through the tubing of your instrument, leaving behind what is called red rot, or these little red spots.
Following some general rules will help you avoid these problems. Avoid drinking soft drinks or eating for at least 1 hour before playing. If you must eat just before playing, be sure to rinse your mouth thoroughly with water.
What goes in must come out. Each day after playing, the water from your instrument should be removed using the proper swab or cleaning cloth. Once a week, your mouthpiece should be cleaned using warm soapy water and a mouthpiece brush.
Everyone likes to have an instrument that looks nice. However, everyday use of your instrument can destroy a bright finish on the body and the keys. Natural acids from your fingerprints and perspiration will actually eat through the lacquer finish on a saxophone, the silver plating on flutes, and the keys on other woodwinds. You can prevent this by wiping these fingerprints off gently with a soft cloth every day. While polishing, special care must be taken not to damage the keys of your instrument.
Moths are also a common problem to woodwind instruments. Just as moth larvae eat through the hole, they if they get in your case. Moth larvae usually only become a problem when you are storing an instrument for an extended amount of time in a warm place. If you need to store your instrument, place cedar wood chips in the case. Doing this should keep the moth larvae out and your pads safe.
We will now demonstrate proper assembly and handling techniques and the daily, weekly, and monthly cleaning and maintenance procedures as found on your instrument's care card. Knowing the names of the different sections of the flute will help you assemble it properly. The head joint,
The first step in assembly is to lift the main body of the flute out of the case by grasping the upper end of the joint to avoid handling the keys. Firmly hold the same end in your left hand so that the brand name of the flute is exposed and facing upward. Your left hand will stay in this position throughout the entire procedure.
pick up the foot joint by the lower end with your right hand little finger. Hold this joint at the lower end with the thumb lightly resting on the pad cup of the C-sharp key and your other fingers around the tube. To connect the two sections, make sure that the joints are in a straight line before joining. Then twist the foot joint onto the main body so that a quarter turn to the right or the left will bring this post of the foot joint in line with the center of this pad cup. You may need to further adjust the foot joint to fit your hand position.
If the joints resist going together, stop. Using excessive force can damage your flute. If the tendons are dirty, then clean them with your fingers in this manner, and try again. If after this the joints will not go together, ask your teacher or a qualified repair technician for help.
The last step of the assembly is to join the head joint with the other two joints. With your left hand still holding the main body, place the lower end of the flute in your lap or against your leg. Then pick up the head joint with your right hand, line it up with the main body, and twist it onto the middle joint so that the embouchure plate is in line with the keys. Further adjustment of the head joint may be necessary to fit your desired playing position. This completes the assembly of the flute.
It is just as important to disassemble your flute properly. To disassemble the flute, follow the exact reverse of the assembly procedure, using the same hand positions to avoid contact with the keys.
Now let's look at the daily, weekly, and monthly maintenance schedule that will keep your flute clean and working properly. Each day you should remove the moisture from the instrument after playing, and remove fingerprints and perspiration.
It is important to remove the water that has accumulated on the inside of the instrument while playing. You will need a flute cleaning rod like this, and a piece of soft cotton flannel measuring approximately 8 by 14 inches. Both the cloth and the cleaning rod should be kept in the case at all times.
After you have disassembled your flute and set it in the case, take the cleaning rod and thread this corner of the cloth through the eye of the cleaning rod, and turn the rod at least 2 turns while holding the other corner. Then bring the other end of the cloth close to the rod and roll up the remainder of the cloth.
The head joint and foot joint can be cleaned by gently pushing the cleaning rod in and pulling it back out. taking care not to hold the flute by the keys. With the main body, the rod should be inserted halfway into the joint from both ends.
After removing the water from your instrument, use a dry corner of the cloth to carefully wipe fingerprints off the keys and body.
Once a week at a maintenance time outside of class, you should clean the tenons and tenon sockets and polish the flute thoroughly.
The tenons and sockets of each joint should be cleaned with your fingers in this manner, taking care not to handle the flute by the keys. They should only be cleaned by your fingers. Cleaning these tenons and sockets with a cloth will remove the natural lubrication left by your fingers, making assembly difficult.
A soft cotton flannel cloth should be used to polish your flute. The cloth should be large enough to cover the flute in one hand while polishing it with the other hand.
When polishing the head joint, grip the tenon with one hand and polish with the other. Do not polish the tenon portion of the head joint. This will remove the finger grease which is needed for lubrication. Always polish lengthwise on the instrument.
In polishing the other sections of the flute, special care must be taken not to put excessive pressure on the keys or come in direct contact with the pads. With the cloth over one hand, gently cradle the joint. Using the thumb and index finger of the other hand, polish the body of the instrument. Do not polish between keys any further than your thumb will fit. After polishing the accessible parts of the body, polish the tops of the keys lightly.
Following these steps will help preserve the finish of your flute and keep it looking nice. No liquid or paste silver polishes should be used. It will damage the pads and jam key bearings of your instrument. If further polishing is needed, take your flute to a qualified repair technician.
At least once a month, machine wash cleaning cloth. Playing in the band is a fun experience and one which can be a positive influence on the rest of your life. Trying to play an instrument that doesn't work properly only takes away from the fun of playing.
Now that you have learned to take care and take pride, you can prevent most of the common problems with instruments simply by following the assembly and handling techniques and the daily, weekly, and monthly maintenance schedule shown in this program. You must decide whether you want an instrument that you can be proud of or an instrument that will give you problems.
It's not a hard choice to make when you look at the benefits of taking care and taking pride. You can keep your instrument in top playing condition, prevent needless damage and repair bills, extend the life of your instrument, play more confidently knowing that you have taken care and taken pride.
Remember the CARE formula. Commit. Commit to take care, take pride.
Ask. Ask any questions you have about your instrument. Ask your teachers or a repair technician.
Repeat. Repeat consistently the CARE procedures, daily, weekly, and monthly, as shown on your CARE card.
Expert. Take your instrument to a repair expert whenever you have mechanical problems with it. You should take your instrument in for a checkup at least once a year to see if it needs professional cleaning, lubrication, and adjustment.
Good luck, and
Take care. Take pride.